Good morning and welcome to the Dallas Download, your quick look at what's trending, what's happening, and what everyone's talking around DFW. I'm Kayla, and we've got a lot to get into today, so let's jump right in.
So really, we're just trying to get people to eat the baseline, about 28 to 34 grams of fiber per day.
When you sign up to foster, you should also know it doesn't have to cost you anything. They'll pay for your vet care, they'll pay for your supplies most of the time.
All that and more right here on the Dallas Download.
Apple TV Plus's epic sci-fi drama Invasion is back for season 3, and things are getting more intense than ever. The aliens are evolving, the stakes are higher, and for the first time, all of the main characters are coming together to face the threat head on. So joining us this morning is Erika Alexander, who steps into the series as Verna, a brand new character shaking things up in the latest season. Welcome, Erika. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I've been excited. We've been talking about this series for a little bit. For fans who have been following the series, season 3 raises the bar a bit. What makes the season stand out compared to the first 2?
Well, the first 2, they were fighting the aliens and they defeated them. And there's been 2 years of peace. So they spent 2 seasons fighting really hard. But we're going to find out in the 3rd season that all is not well on the home front. And they are all together now. That's what's different. They were fighting from different points in the planet, whether it was Shioli in Japan and Gaul, wherever she went. They were. Oh, by the way, this show is an international show because they were filming in South Africa and New York and all of these places. It was a big I guess, lift, and they've been doing it well. And so it was the first time many of them were meeting in real life. So I was glad to join the cast just at that moment.
And your character, Verna, is new to the story. Can you tell us about her and the role she plays in this global fight against the invasion?
Sure. Verna, Marilyn was her name before the invasion. Verna is who she becomes. Was a people pleaser. And she was a person who was in support of her sister and her nephew and her boss and all of these people. But what she finds out on the other side, dealing with her deep grief, is that she becomes something else. And she uses those skills, those organizational skills, and to become a leader. And not necessarily from the greatest place, but she is very human in that journey.
And one of the big shifts this season is that the characters' perspectives, they all finally collide and start, they're forced to work together. How does that change the tone or the energy of the series?
I think it's always really wonderful for people who have been fans and watched the show, for people to start that they've admired, to see how they're going to work against or for with other people that they've never met. And, we imagine that the actors are not necessarily the characters, but I think there's a certain kind of buzz you get when you put 2 things together, like peanut butter and chocolate. So I think that that's really fun. And there's a lot of really great special effects and collaboration with the productions designer and all of these things happening, that, there's certain characters who can speak telepathy and all of those things. So there's a great design in the way Simon Kinberg built out a huge world. And for the characters to finally meet and work within that world is what this 3rd season is about, along with these apex predator aliens who are coming at us hardcore. And they are scary creatures, but they're also fighting these very human battles.
And yeah, you're right. The show has been praised for its incredible visuals and suspenseful storytelling. What was it like for you stepping into this world and filming these big cinematic moments?
It was a lot. I'm not going to lie. You need to use your imagination in order to play these characters, because a lot of the time you're staring at nothing. I mean, nothing. Look over there, scream, clap, and you just have to go with it. And that there's people who are professionals who know what they're doing. You stay in the moment and you authentically try to deliver something that's spontaneous and brand new and feels fresh, even though you're doing it over and over again. And you've got a lot of amazing background players who are inside of it, and everyone's just working to collaborate to make this world. I think humans are amazing, that we spend a lot of our time just telling stories, and we are desperate for people to understand who we are. I think that is a message in the bottle to whoever shows up, whether we're here or not to see them, we'll see. But I do believe that that's our love letter to the galaxy, is our stories.
Erika Alexander, I want to thank you for joining me this morning. You could stream season 3 of Invasion right now on Apple TV Plus, so don't miss it. Erika, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, and appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
Ever wonder what it takes to drive a massive truck across a sheet of ice? Knowing one wrong move could mean disaster. The hit History Channel series Ice Road Truckers has returned with its most intense season yet. Higher stakes, deadlier conditions, and shorter windows to deliver life-saving supplies to some of the most remote communities on Earth. Joining me is a fan favorite and veteran trucker, Todd Dewey, who's back behind the wheel for season 12. Welcome to the show, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm actually standing on solid ground right now, so I'm feeling pretty confident.
All right, there you go. For those of us, or for those out there who haven't seen it, what do you think makes ice road trucking such a dangerous and vital job?
Oh my gosh. Well, you hit it all when you explained it right off the get-go and letting them know who you were going to be talking to. It starts out from day one and it don't stop until the season's actually over with and you're on a plane flying home. I mean, what it takes to be an ice road trucker is a whole lot of crazy and a lot of trucking skills and a lot of years behind the wheel. That's what it honestly takes. And, we go up there and fight Mother Nature like nobody's business, from snowstorms to thin ice to losing your loads to truck breakdowns and there's some things that happen this season. I know that we've had lots of other seasons and lots of things have happened, but I don't know why or for what reason, but things happen on this season that have never happened before. We had trailers going losing oversized loads. Some of the worst weather conditions I think we've ever been faced with up there, including very thin ice due to climate change, and a very short window to go get a lot of loads in these communities. And what people don't understand is they're like, well, you're just driving down the road and just delivering a load. It's not like that. It's what we got to go through to get these loads into the community. Some people say, well, why is it worth it? Why do you want to go out there and risk your life and just to drive on an ice road and drive across the ice? Well, I tell you what, when you battle Mother Nature the way we got to battle it, and you get that load into the community, and these communities come out, and it's like Christmas time to them, and the little kids come up and they give you a hug, and they're so excited to be getting their new bike, maybe that's in their load of supplies, or their food that they need for the remainder of the year after the ice roads, when they all melt and they go away. That's the only access they have to get these supplies. So when I stop and think of my kids or my granddaughters going without food or supplies that they need to live throughout a year, that's how important it is. And they show their appreciation when you show up there, and it makes it all worthwhile.
And you face some brutal hauls. What's the toughest one that sticks with you?
Oh my gosh, there's been so many over the hauls. I can't give any away this year. You're going to have to put your seatbelt on and buckle up and watch a show and go for a crazy ride of this. But there's been so many times that I think I broke a couple records over the years for some of the heaviest hauls on the ice. And there's been a lot of situations. There's been a lot of scary moments. Let's put it that way.
And season 12, it marks really a big return after a long hiatus. What's it been like getting back on the ice kind of this time around?
Oh, I was nervous. I'm not going to time and doing some graduations with my daughters and getting my new grandbabies and doing all that. And then getting the call to go back up after 8 years of not being on the ice. I was nervous. I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I was like, oh my gosh, because then you get flooded with all those emotions of knowing what's about to happen, how thin the ice can get, Mother Nature, the snowstorms you're going to get yourself into. Am I going to be able to get these loads? And do I still have what it takes to be an ice road trucker? And so the first couple of 2-3 runs up there, I was nervous like nobody's business, thinking, oh my, because it just flooded me with emotions. The second I hit that first ice road, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm here and doing this again. So it was quite the adventure, and this is definitely one season you are not going to want to miss.
And this season, we're seeing some veterans and rookies out there. How do the new drivers handle the pressure compared to some of the seasoned pros like you?
I don't know. I've been with a couple new season drivers that have been up there over the years of ice road trucking, and of course, I don't ever leave a driver behind. If I'm with somebody and they're new and they don't know, they're in a situation where they don't know what to do or how to get out of it or how to fix their truck, I'm not going to leave them. I'm going to stay there and help them until we get everybody safe and we're back up and rolling and get out of Mother Nature's elements and get back to rolling. But as far as the new guys this year, I didn't get a lot of trucking time with them. I know that they were nervous. I did talk to them on the side a little bit. and when we were back in getting loads, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I expected. I didn't think the roads were going to be this brutal. I didn't think Mother Nature was going to be this brutal. And it's like, I asked him the question, well, what do you think about coming back for another season if the Muskie Creek asks you to come back and be another driver again this next year? They're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to think about it, because it's that brutal. I mean, these road conditions put you through things you never think your body, or physically and emotionally, that you'd ever be put through. It's pretty amazing.
And beyond the danger and the paychecks, what's the real reward that's keeping you back hitting the road over and over again?
Getting those loads to the communities, those hugs and those hot plate of food after battling and putting your body and getting those loads in the community from Mother Nature and battling those ice roads. When you see the smiles on those families' faces and the way they came up and they give you a hug, and it's not just like a hug like, oh, no, it's a hug like you can tell the appreciation in it. And they kiss you on the cheek or whatever they do, and they just look at you in the eyes and say, thank you. We needed this. That's what being an ice road trucker is about, and that's why I love doing it so much.
Do the words global warming scare you?
Oh, absolutely. It scares me because of the fact of it almost feels like there's going to come a time to where those communities can't get their supplies that they need to survive and take care of their families, and that is definitely very scary.
Todd, I want to thank you for joining me today. You can watch Todd and the rest of the Fearless crew now on Ice Road Truckers Season 12, airing Wednesday nights on History Channel and streaming the next day at history.com/Ice Road Truckers. Hey, Todd, thanks for joining me today.
You betcha. Hey, stay safe out there and buckle up for the first episode. You're going to need it.
A lot of action franchises try to go bigger every time, but Jack Ryan Ghost War is also digging into trust, loyalty, and what service really costs. The new film continues the world's fans already know while standing on its own for people jumping in fresh. And joining us today is the legendary Wendell Pierce, who returns as James Greer. Wendell, it's great to have you on the show, my friend. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, James Greer has always been one of the most grounded characters in this world. What do you enjoy most about stepping back into him for Ghost War?
The character of James Greer really reflects some of the people that I met doing the research of this character. Real CIA officers, retired, who have kind of given me their true north to form a more perfect union, and some of the debate that they have within the agency, and but understanding that the shared idealism of working on the mission, which is to form a more perfect union and protect that. Those are shared values. And so stepping back into the role, that's the thing that I'd love to portray. As an actor, you're a student of human behavior. And what you want to do is create the world so strong that it induces that behavior. And that's the great thing about reliving a role like James Greer.
One thing John Krasinski mentioned is that the story works for both longtime fans and for people who've never watched the series. Was that something you felt like while you were making it too?
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to be familiar with the series at all. You can come to this fresh. You will see the history that we have as characters. You will see our relationship. You see our expertise, and then also you have this story of what's happening now, this casual act that I ask a favor of Jack Ryan to do for me that actually ignites a global espionage chase. And so it is one of those things that people who have seen the series can come to and appreciate the next level of where we take the characters, and people who come to this fresh and new. But what we do over the course of a series, put into a 2-hour movie, is just heightened and it makes it a lot more intense.
And you said it's been heightened, it's more cinematic, a little bigger, but it also keeps the political and moral tensions that Tom Clancy's stories are known for. What kind of balance does this film strike between action and some of the character?
Well, I think it's very important. I'm very proud of the fact that we keep the debate happening about the clarity of mission and clarity of what values are, and the political debate that happens around that, because that is happening within the world, what happens within the agency, and it makes you, as the viewer, look at it and decide what your values are. That's the forum of what filmmaking should be about, the place where we collectively come together, reflect on who we are, decide where we want to go, decide what our values are, maybe bring that into our lives. And so I love that we have that debate, and at the same time have some of the best cinematic thrill sequences of action comparable to the French Connection and Marathon Man and all of that. So I'm very proud of the cinematic and the debate that happens within the film.
And fans, they know you from so many incredible roles from over the years, but there's something about Greer that people really connect with. What do you think keeps audiences invested in this character and this franchise?
I try to make James Greer a everyman, that people look at it and go, there but by the grace of God go I. That they can see themselves in James Greer. He's a man of pragmatism. He's a family man. He's flawed as he tries and did not succeed in keeping his family together. But with all of that, he is principled. And he attempts to hang on to his principles and values. And people will see themselves in that, Not someone who's perfect, but someone who's pragmatic and at least tries to live by some sort of moral code. And that's who we all are, and that's who we are when we dream of who we can become. So that's the thing that makes him prescient, and personal. And that's what I pride myself on when I try to portray him.
Yeah, thanks for being here today. Jack Ryan, Ghost War premieres May 20th on Prime Video. Wendell Pierce, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Most people think it could never happen to them until somebody suddenly takes over a property and the legal process turns into a total nightmare. A&E series Squatters follows Flash Shelton and his team as they help homeowners reclaim their homes in some pretty tense and emotional situations. Flash pretty much first got in this world after dealing with some squatters in his own family home, and now he's helping people across the country. Welcome to the show, Flash. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, your story started when squatters took over your mom's home. What was that experience like for your whole family?
I kept it from my family actually, until later, but I couldn't tell my mom. My dad had just passed away, and I moved her in with me to sell her home and to help her have a fresh start and, closer to family. But, navigating that situation and learning all about squatters is what I needed to do to just be the good son. And so, my family, I couldn't tell my mom. She was still distraught over my dad. I just told her that I needed a lease so I could go up and be on the property to do some repairs. And, it was successful. I learned a lot about squatters and I out-squatted them. I figured if they could take a house, I could take a house.
And now that the show is out, what kind of reaction have you been getting from some of the viewers?
Everyone's excited. And, I think that the fact that the awareness is, it's teaching people what a squatter is and that they are normal people. They are just entitled and figured, that there's a flaw in the system. They should be able to take advantage of it. I think, people truly understanding that squatters are not homeless people. So squatters and a homeless in a housing crisis have nothing to do with each other.
And some of these situations on the series tend to be really intense. Was there one case in the season that surprised even you?
Yeah, I had a case where, there's several people and, I'm always hearing that, they're drug dealers or they're, committing crimes on the property or something. And, a lot of times it's I have to look into it and I don't find any evidence of that. But in other cases, we just have to go in extremely careful. I don't want anyone to get hurt, including a squatter. So I think that the fact that, it's just there are different types of cases every single day and different stories. So at this point, it's like, I don't know that anything surprises me.
And what do most people misunderstand about the squatting laws and how difficult these situations can become for homeowners?
I think that there is a misconception about squatter laws and tenant laws. Tenant laws in a lot of states were written under the, guides that homeowner is rich and a tenant is poor. But anyone who owns a home knows that just because you own a mortgage doesn't make you rich. And tenants are not all poor. Some people just choose to rent. So, it's I think that there's a misconception about the laws themselves and the fact that there is no line between a squatter and a tenant. So squatters are assuming tenant rights.
And after helping in more than 100 cases, what advice would you give homeowners to help protect themselves before something like this happens to them?
Documentation, like being able to document when an intruder enters and how they enter. In today's day and age, there is no excuse not to have a camera that you can monitor from your phone anywhere in the world. When somebody walks up your driveway, you get alerted. When somebody goes into your mailbox, you get alerted. If you can monitor when they enter, they are now arrested as a trespasser and they will never become your squatter.
Flash Shelton, I really want to thank you for joining me today. You can catch episodes of Squatters now on A&E with streaming available on the A&E app and at ANETV.com. Flash, thanks for joining me again today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Social media has turned fiber maxing into one of the latest wellness trends. But unlike some internet health crazes, this one actually has some experts on board. The bigger issue is that most people still aren't getting enough fiber every day, even though it plays a huge role in digestion and overall health. Registered dietitian Amy Shapiro is joining us now with easy ways to boost fiber intake and make healthy habits feel a little more realistic. Welcome, Amy. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
So what exactly is fiber maxing, and why has it suddenly become such a big conversation online?
So as a dietitian, I've been talking about fiber for my entire career, but with fiber maxing, it's just taking something old and making it new again. Basically, what we're doing is we're focusing on fiber because many Americans are not meeting their goals. So really, we're just trying to get people to eat the baseline, about 28 to 34 grams of fiber per day. And that's pretty much fiber maxing. Nothing glossy, nothing new, but something that's very important.
And why does fiber matter for more than just digestion?
So fiber is important because not only does it help keep our gut healthy from the microbiome to its integrity, but it also helps with digestion, keeping us regular. And when we look at the type of fiber in Metamucil, the psyllium fiber, it helps to create a gel-like substance that moves through your digestive tract, taking with it some excess cholesterol. So therefore, it helps to lower cholesterol, it helps to balance blood sugar levels, it helps to maintain energy, and also it helps to keep you feeling satisfied and full between meals. So it has so many metabolic and health benefits beyond just digestion.
And could you tell me a little bit more about those heart and metabolic benefits as well?
Yes. So in the fact that Metamucil psyllium fiber turns into this gel, it helps to reduce cholesterol, which protects the heart. It helps to manage blood glucose levels, which it keeps you having maintained or increased energy. And by keeping you full, it decreases cravings and portion sizes. So it can help you to continue to manage your hunger. There's so many things that fiber can do. It's basically the number one, gut hack.
And a lot of people hear the word psyllium, but may not know exactly what it is. What makes that type of fiber different?
So psyllium fiber is the type of fiber used in Metamucil. And what it does, it's a soluble fiber, which means it absorbs water and turns into this gel-like substance, similar to if you eat a chia pudding, something like that. So what it does is it makes it able to capture and remove excess things from the body to help us feel, more energized.
And for busy people trying to eat a little healthier, what are some simple ways to sneak more fiber into the day?
So I always tell people to focus on eating more plant foods. So that's fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains. But if that's not available to you, you don't like them, you don't know how to prepare them, then Metamucil psyllium fiber is also a great addition or general hack because it's easy to add to your everyday. You can drink it in the morning, middle of the day, in the evening, whatever works. Because the most important thing with fiber is consistency and not making it a fad that you focus on once in a while, but something that you do every day. So meeting those 28 to 34 grams of fiber goals every single day is so important for these health benefits. Also, having adequate amounts of water with your fiber helps to keep things moving smoothly.
And I also heard you're working on a Metamucil Mic Grab series. What makes that project different from the usual wellness content people see online?
So what we're doing here is I was able to sit down with 90s icons, Lance Bass from NSYNC and Danielle Fishel from Boy Meets World, and just talk about general health. So, Metamucil has been around for 90 years. It's the original fiber hack. And talking about how everyday people, friendly faces, use it in their life to, help with things that used to be embarrassing topics of conversation makes it, more comfortable to talk about. So you don't have to talk about digestion just, behind closed walls or in your doctor's office. Now talking about how it's important for overall health and that people who you maybe grew up with are also using it makes it a friendly and fun conversation. So it helps to make fiber maxing more relatable.
And my friend, where can viewers go for more information?
So absolutely tune into metamucil.com or Metamucil's Instagram channel.
Amy Shapiro, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Animal shelters are heading into one of their busiest times of the year, something called kitten season. It's when shelters suddenly see a huge number of newborn kittens needing care, food, and foster homes. Hannah Shaw, also known as Kitten Lady, is teaming up with Hill's Pet Nutrition to share how families can help and what these tiny kittens need most. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you for having me.
So for people hearing the term for the first time, what is kitten season and why is it such a big challenge for shelters?
Sure. So this is the time of year where the weather is warm, cats are giving birth to a lot of kittens, and unfortunately that means animal shelters are experiencing a huge influx of very young, very vulnerable babies, and they need as much support as possible from the public to come in and help with volunteering, adopting, and really with fostering those kittens who are too young to be adopted.
And if somebody loves animals but has never fostered before, how realistic is it for them to step in and help?
Absolutely. If you love animals, you can foster. You don't have to have any experience. When you sign up to foster, the animal shelter will provide you with training and mentorship. You can also find a lot of training resources through my work, Kitten Lady books and videos. And, when you sign up to foster, you should also know it doesn't have to cost you anything. They'll pay for your vet care. They'll pay for your supplies most of the time. And if you sign up to foster through a Hills Food Shelter Love partner, you are going to get really high quality science diet nutrition for your kittens completely for free, so it doesn't have to come out of your pocket.
And you're working with Hill's Pet Nutrition on this effort. How are programs like Food, Shelter, and Love helping shelters right now?
Well, Food Shelter Love is a program of Hill's Pet Nutrition that has made a big impact. They've been able to impact over 16 million cat and dog adoptions. And this is through providing high quality nutrition, not just to the animals in the adoption program, but also in the foster program. So when you sign up to foster through their partner shelters, you get access to really high quality science diet, kitten wet and dry food. So your kittens can wean onto something that is going to give them all the nutrients they need for a long and healthy life. And it's great because it means you don't have to worry about the financial burden. You just have to worry about providing them a little bit of time and a lot of love.
And my friend, where can viewers go for more information or ways to get involved?
Sure. You can get involved by going to hillspet.com/shelter and find a shelter near you to foster.
Hannah Shaw, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the Dallas Download. Thanks for hanging out with us. Be sure to follow along for more stories, more trends, and even more from your own city. We'll see you next time on the show we like to call the Dallas Download.